Hello, welcome to a MOUG Oral History at the MOUG 40 or at 40 MOUG or We Love MOUG session. This is Nara Newcomer, whom you will get to know much more in the next half hour. Here we are on this fine Wednesday, November 29th, 2017. So, Nara, what is your current position and title, and where?
So I'm currently the head of the Music and Media Library at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, which is in Kansas City, Missouri.
That's great. Have you had the same position or a different one at the time of your first involvement with MOUG?
No, I actually started out at MOUG in my first professional position, which was at East Carolina University in Greenville, North Carolina, where I was the assistant music librarian and did a combination of cataloging and reference work.
Well, great. I'm glad you stayed with MOUG throughout. Who or what drew you to MOUG again?
So I'd actually been, I'd attended the MLA meetings and was starting to become involved in the MLA twice, I think, and the second, and no one had said anything about, oh, you should join MOUG, so, or I hadn't listened to them, I don't know. So this, when I was in the 2005, I think, meeting in Vancouver, I was rooming with Carrie Scannell, now Carrie Bonnick, and Deb Morris, and Carrie said to me, you should become involved in MOUG. And in the intervening time between that and the next year, I got the job at ECU. And then the head of the music library there, David Hirsch, also encouraged me to get involved in MOUG. So between those two things, I joined up and started with MOUG in 2006.
And you've stayed with us.
I have.
What have been your MOUG activities and involvement then since then?
Sure. So I've done a variety of things with MOUG. The very first thing that I did, other than attending meetings and reading the listserv, was to serve on the MOUG Bylaws Revision Task Force.
Woo-hoo.
Sounds really exciting, I know.
Great introduction.
So, but it was actually a really good thing. I actually remember that Neil Hughes asked me over email to do it, and in his kind of typical Neil fashion, and he actually told, when I agreed to do it, he said, be careful you don't agree to do too many things now, because I was a young professional, and I was also part of SEMLA at that time, and he was in SEMLA, and he knew I'd agreed to do something for SEMLA as well. So it was good to have that cautionary thing, even as he was inviting me to be involved. And it's actually kind of served me well when I later have been on the MOUG board to have looked in detail at the bylaws and at MOUG's history, actually, because we looked through the history of bylaws and so forth. And so then it's also, I'll continue on, that I've served as the treasurer for 4 years. And then right now I'm serving as the reference discovery and collection coordinator for from 2017 to 2019. So,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, bylaws are always a good thing to read. What changes have you seen in MOUG over the years that you've been involved?
Right. So, of course, I haven't been involved in MOUG nearly as many years as some people have. But one of the changes I've seen is something that happened while I was the treasurer. And the previous treasurer, Casey Mullen, had implemented PayPal so that people weren't always having to renew with a mailed form and a check. And as the treasurer, I was really happy that that had happened, because it's a lot less work when the transactions are done electronically. And then when I was the treasurer, I worked with our webmaster to implement MEMBI, which is our new online website, which allows people to do the whole renewal process electronically, online, and the membership database is maintained online instead of in a spreadsheet. And so that was a huge transition. We had all the membership information in a spreadsheet. And you know, anytime you have something in a spreadsheet that has been passed down from person to person to person, there's always these weird little data things that, you know, people put notes about stuff. And then when you try and go and actually convert it to like a database format, there's all the catalogers that are going to understand this. it gets all messed up, and you have to tweak it and work it out. Even though that was a ton of work, I'm really glad that we did it, because it made the renewal process a lot smoother for the treasurer, and I think for the members too. We've noticed that as soon as you send out the renewal email, a lot of people will just kind of pile in within moments, and then over the next few days, they get it in. So.
Yeah, I know for myself it's been really convenient, and also that MOUG has tied in with the Music Association online, so I think we're in the 21st century.
Yeah.
It's made it very nice for members. What is your favorite MOUG memory?
My favorite MOUG memory?
There might be several, so
okay.
You could just expect.
So I'll give a couple of them. So the first, this was before I was the treasurer, when I was pretty new in San Diego at the MOUG meeting. Tracy Rudnick, who was the chair of MOUG at that time, it was a cookie break. And so she came up to me, and I think I'd eaten one cookie, and there were still some cookies left. And she said, now you need to make sure that you eat every single cookie because they cost, and then she quotes me the exact price of the cookie each, which is, was several dollars. And that was the first real exposure I'd ever had to how much food costs at these hotel-type situations. And so I just remembered that, and then a few years later I took on the treasurer role, and here I was budgeting for these $75 containers of lemonade and $4 cookies, and then that's how it works out. So that was something interesting that happened. I also was just thinking about how MOUG has been on top of new types of trends and formats in their presentations. Obviously on content, but also, like, I experienced my first lightning round session at MOUG, and the first kind of unconference-y type session at MOUG, and so I think that's a really good thing that it says for MOUG and our program committees. And also, I should say that you should never ever skip a joint presentation by Tracy Snyder and Kevin Kishimoto, because you will learn a lot of things, and they're thoughtful, but they're also really entertaining too. So that's another great thing about the MOUG meetings. And I'm not in a position now where I'm actively cataloging. So when I was actively cataloging, I would always pick up so many useful things that I would take home and apply. And now I don't necessarily have the opportunity to apply them, but I still pick up so much useful information that just helps me keep aware of what's going on.
And maybe you can suggest things to your music catalog.
Right, although she's usually there as well.
Well, and not to, but speaking of cutting edge and right on the cusp of trends, I found I know you're part of the committee, but you chaired the effort for the discovery requirements for music materials. Could you speak a little bit about your activity with that?
I can definitely.
This is hugely valuable.
I can talk about that. And I don't think you ever said your name. This is Wendy Sistrunk.
Oh, okay.
And she's also here at UMKC as what's your technical
title? Yeah, well, we changed everything. Head of Metadata and Preservation Services. MAPS, we help you in your way to discovery. Okay, but yeah.
So I'm not trying to distract it, but I want to make sure that got in there.
Okay.
So I chaired the Music Discovery Requirements Task Force, which actually was done under the auspices of MLA, and we basically all these new discovery interfaces were coming out, and there had been the ILS requirements document that was done in, I think, the late 90s or early 2000s, and it clearly needed updating for the modern era. And so in 2012, we finished it up, so we've been working on it some before that. Just laid out what the needs are for music in discovery interfaces and kind of organized it according to Ferber. And it's a 60-page document and looks at each element specifically. It gives recommendations for specific mark fields as well as in other formats. And then right now we're in the process of updating that. It's actually pretty much done. We're just at this moment finishing up some of the technical posting on the internet type facets of it, and then we'll release the second edition of that within hopefully less than a month of when we're talking right now. And it's also worked into my MOUG work well
Yeah.
because in the last year I took over the role as the reference discovery and collection coordinator, and our previous RDCC had also done a really great job getting a lot of things going in that area. That was Rebecca Belford, and she had put together medium of performance Mark 382 field display recommendations based on a lot of survey data and analysis, and then there also was the MLA and MOUG Joint Search and Discovery Task Force to be given recommendations, and this is all for OCLC's WorldCat Discovery interface. And over the last year, I've kind of had the really nice opportunity to just be able to work with folks at OCLC, especially Jay Holloway and Bridget Dower, to actually implement a lot of those recommendations that Rebecca and that the Search and Discovery Task Force that Mike Duffy with MLA chaired have put together. And so it's been really great to see those things. We just had the medium of performance this fall. It's now all displayed just beautifully, as long as it's present in the record, but it's wonderful.
It's so valuable, and speaking for myself, but I know for you to have that document and you can show administrators or folks who don't quite understand what the needs are of users of music and stuff, so it's great. Any other memories or last words?
No, I think we've pretty much. Oh, I do have one more thing that's kind of funny. Bruce Evans was serving as the continuing education coordinator at the time when I started in MOUG. And Bruce, if you look at the MOUG history, is the only person who's ever served in that position for 2 terms in a row. And so,
glutton for
yeah, but he did a great job in that position. So I sort of had this perception of him as the perpetual continuing education coordinator, kind of like the lady that's coordinated the children's Christmas program for the last 40 years.
That's true.
Yeah, so I had that perception of him, and then with not a very large break, then he became the chair of MOUG, and I had the opportunity to work with him as the treasurer during that time.
Well, great. I personally will say that there's a lot of really strong and creative leadership in MOUG, and I'm really glad that you're part of that, because you've made MOUG better, and MOUG has made us better.
It sure has.
So thanks very much for the interview, Nara.
All right, thank you, Wendy.
All right.